Welcome to the deep dive. So, you're curious if you can sidestep those tariff price hikes just by, not buying the stuff.
It's a really good question.
Yeah.
People see prices go up. They want to know if they have any control.
Exactly. So, we dove into economic reports, looked at historical boycotts, checked out what global finance folks are saying.
Like the World Bank, IMF, and BER reports.
Right. And our mission today to unpack how tariffs hit your wallet, whether dodging them actually works, and what the big takeaways are.
Okay, let's jump in. The basic economic idea is pretty simple. Tariffs are taxes on imports.
Taxes the importers pay initially.
Correct. But the expectation, generally, is that cost gets passed along, often right down to the consumer. So higher prices for you.
So it's not just the importers feeling the pinch, it hits us directly.
Well, maybe not always dollar for dollar on the shelf price. Tailors might eat some of the cost.
Yeah.
But research, like from the NBER on the 2018 trade spat, showed a pretty much complete pass-through of tariffs to the importer's price.
Complete.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, which suggests tariffs effectively acted like a hidden tax. It potentially cut household income by billions each month, even if folks weren't buying the specific tariff good directly.
Billions. That's significant. What kind of everyday stuff are we talking about here?
Oh, it's broad.
Huh?
Think clothes, groceries, electronics, cars even.
So like toddler PJs from Cambodia or
Yeah.
coffee.
Exactly. Or fresh fruit, maybe that new PlayStation 5, children's car seats. If there's a tariff, the price could tick up. And big players like the World Bank and IMF, they've warned about tariffs pushing up global prices too.
Right. So what if everyone just stopped? Stopped buying the tariffed goods? Couldn't that force prices down? Or make governments rethink things?
Well, there's definitely history there. People have used boycotts. Think pre-American Revolution, refusing British goods.
Okay, that's a big one.
And the Iranian tobacco boycott in 1891. More recently, Canadians boycotting U.S. whiskey, things like that. Boycotts in Europe, Australia against certain U.S. products, sometimes tied to politics.
Did they work?
Sometimes they cause ripples. Sales might dip. Some products might get pulled. We saw boycotts in the Balkans over food costs that actually led to government price caps. Sometimes governments even encourage them, or apps help coordinate.
But I sense a but coming.
Yeah. But achieving a comprehensive boycott today, it's really hard. Supply chains are global, complex. It's tough to coordinate everyone, avoid free riders. The long-term financial hit might be minimal, and sometimes frontline workers bear the brunt.
And just figuring out what has a tariff seems tricky for an average shopper.
Exactly. It's not like there's a big tariff-applied sticker. Supply chains twist and turn. Plus, tariff rules change, exemptions pop up, things get excluded.
And substitutes aren't always easy to find.
Right. Good luck finding a non-imported avocado easily, or certain electronics, or specific clothing items. Plus, there are those embedded tariffs.
Embedded, meaning?
Tariffs on raw materials or parts. So even if a product is assembled domestically, some components might have faced tariffs, bumping up the cost indirectly.
Huh. So even buying local isn't a guaranteed escape route.
Not entirely, no. And think about the ripple effects if lots of people did manage to boycott imports.
What kind of effects?
Well, retailers and importers could see sales plummet, inventory problems, maybe even closures, job losses. It could create a kind of bullwhip effect back up the chain.
And domestic companies? Could they just pick up the slack?
Maybe, but probably not immediately. Scaling up takes time, investment. They might even raise their prices if demand suddenly spikes. And many domestic firms rely on imported inputs anyway.
Plus, couldn't other countries hit back with their own tariffs on our exports?
Absolutely. Retaliation is a real risk. That hurts U.S. exporters and their workers. It just generally chills international trade, which can slow the whole economy.
So experts are generally pretty skeptical about boycotts being a silver bullet.
The consensus view is often that tariffs tend to be regressive, hitting lower-income folks harder. And while boycotts can, send a political message, they're usually not seen as a super effective tool for reversing broad tariff impacts long term.
Okay, so if boycotts are tough, how do businesses cope when prices go up and demand falls?
They adapt. They might absorb some cost, hurting margins, or look for new suppliers in non-tariff countries. Some might even shift production. Others adjust marketing, cut costs elsewhere, or focus on different products.
Makes sense. And for us, the consumers, if boycotting everything is impractical, what can we realistically do?
It's more about smart shopping, really. Look for sales. Maybe switch brands if a cheaper alternative exists. Delay big purchases if you can. Consider used items. Prioritize needs over wants.
Buying local when it actually makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, when feasible. And maybe timing purchases if you know a tariff is coming or might be lifted. It's about navigating, not necessarily a full-scale boycott.
So, wrapping up, it feels like the takeaway is while boycotting tariff goods sounds powerful, actually doing it effectively is really complicated, and the economic fallout is way bigger than just that one product.
Absolutely, it's messy.
Yeah.
But understanding these dynamics, knowing how tariffs work and the challenges of avoidance, that's valuable knowledge in itself.
Definitely gives you a clearer picture.
And it leaves you with a thought, right? Given how interconnected everything is, how might our individual choices, maybe not organized boycotts, but just our everyday buying habits, collectively, how might they actually shape trade policies over the long haul?